little bit different look for us here today. Probably you've never seen this one on at least my camera before. I'm at the cemetery here at the Cowboy Action Shooting Guys range here in Lake Charles, Louisiana. It's the Up the Creek Gang guys. Again, big shout out and thanks to them for letting me use their range. What we're doing today is, as you see, it's raining again. Guys, if you will go back and look at the videos that I have done in the last 6 months, it rains all the time. I know you're getting as tired of it as I probably am. Nevertheless, I got to find stuff that I can talk about and play with during the rain. Today, we're going to be talking about a really cool, something that I've really been wanting to mess with, optic. This is a thermal imaging optic by Torrey Pines. Torrey Pines makes some really cool, I hesitate to say inexpensive because a lot of people associate inexpensive with poor quality, and that's certainly not the case here. But most of us who have been introduced to thermal optics know that they carry a pretty high price tag, higher than the average person is typically willing to pay. The Torrey Pines units don't. And I have come to find that their quality is pretty good. This is the T20 unit. The T20 unit is brand new for 2019. I believe it came in the end of 2018, but you're going to see a whole lot more of it this year. A lot of cool stuff. This thing is weapons mountable, as you can see. What I like about it is you can put 30 millimeter rings on it. Now, I started out with a pair of Vortex 30 millimeter rings. It's really hard for me to say that. And I had them sitting up pretty high. Now, two things about that. First of all, as you can see, the rings were too wide. So they grabbed hold of the magnifying area right here. There's a ring right here in the front that helps you magnify from, I think, 3 power to 6 power. Okay, so my ring was too wide. So I mounted it just to bring it out here, but I was able to find another pair of Vortex, set of Vortex that was a little bit narrower that was gonna allow me to access my magnifying ring. So that's a nice thing. I was glad I was able to do that because I didn't want to lose that ability. I mean, if you had to, you could push the thing from one side to the other and utilize it because it's not like you're going to be zooming in and out a whole lot, but it's nice to not have to eliminate that function if at all possible. Now, this thing has 4 different colors in it. The colors are actually more than just a look. You know, you might appreciate the purpley oranges and all that kind of stuff. I mean, they look good, but at the same time, sometimes you need like a white hot. I'm not quite sure. I think maybe for nostalgic reasons, they might have the night vision green in there because this is not like a true night vision or say like a true night vision. It's not like night vision at all. This is thermal and it reads heat, whereas night vision is still using a tad bit of light that it reflects off of. So again, maybe it's for nostalgic purposes that the green is in there. The white hot, the grays and blacks that you see in there, man, sometimes that's going to allow you to really see what you need to see because it gets all the other confusion. It gets all the other noise out of the way. As you see, I took this unit in my house and I was walking around in my house and I have a couple of varmints that live in my house. And as you see, when you're walking with the color, it essentially, when there's no heat for it to focus on, what it's going to do is it's going to brighten everything up until it finds a heat source, and then it dims everything down and brightens that actual heat source up. So it adjusts itself based on what temperatures it's looking for. In other words, if I'm looking for a 98.6 degree person, that heat signature is going to be a whole lot different than, say, maybe a snake on the ground. Or a frog, or even a rabbit, or something like that. This is just as effective during the daytime as it is at night because, again, it's not seeing in the dark, so to speak. This thing is actually reading a heat signature. So that heat signature, in many cases, will be the same during the day and the night, although sometimes you're going to have a little bit more noise during the day, simply because if the sun is out, it's going to heat up everything else around that subject that you're trying to identify, so it gives you more noise. Nighttime, because temperatures are typically cooler and body temperature is usually the hottest thing out there and everything else is cooler, is usually the best time to do it. But as you can see, I can pick up these varmints in my house very, very easily. I have one sitting on a chair here. I have one over here sitting in another chair. And you can see the detail. Look at the detail on these critters' faces. You can see where the brighter spots are where your hotter temperatures are. And that's pretty cool. Again, in a small unit like this that's weapons mountable, I like that. That's a nice touch. Now, you'll notice this thing also has a reticle on it. The reticle, I have not tested it yet. Now, I have read where the reticle is centerfire cartridge safe, or you know, it's going to work with a centerfire cartridge. So let's give this thing a shot. I want to show off some of the things this Torrey Pines T20. This is an awesome little unit. It mounts perfectly on here. It looks good. I don't know that you want to rely on this, and I'm speaking hopefully not out of turn here. I don't know if you want to rely on this as your primary source of aiming, but in many cases, my higher rings that I had a while ago actually allowed me to still see my front bead, my front sight on this shotgun. This lower ring does not. So if I keep this unit on my shotgun, I will most likely bring it up so that I can still see under it and spot my sights. Right now I see where they need to be. With both eyes open, I can see where I need to be, obviously, because my left eye can still pick it up. All right, guys, as you can see, there's two buttons on top of the T20. The right side button is your power button, and you can see the T20 is powering up, and it's on. And remember, the ring up front is going to zoom us in and zoom us out. This other button over here is simply for changing your color. See, we were on the multicolor, now we're on the, I guess that's hot white. That's, I guess, the opposite of it. You can see my targets down there. And that's the simulated night vision. You can kind of see my targets there. And that's the multicolor one. So we're going to shoot with the multicolor just because I'm used to shooting with that, with the FLIR units that I typically use. I'm going to focus on these 4 up close pieces of steel first, and I'm going to strictly use my reticle. Again, I've blocked my front bead so I can't see it anyway, so I'm strictly going off the reticle right now. I do have birdshot in here right now to see if I'm even close to the target. If I don't hit anything, then there's no sense in wasting slugs on this. All right, just the reticle. All right, that hit it. All right, looks like we're close. Let me shoot the vultures out there, the buzzards, whatever you want to call it. I guess that is a vulture, right? If I can see them, I really can't see them through here. Nope. Well, yeah, I can. Yeah, I can. There we go. All right. Okay, let me put some slugs in here now. Clearly, I'm close. I'm using Hornady American Whitetail. This is more specifically a 12 gauge slug. A 2 3/4 is 12 gauge slug. 325 grain interlock round. So again, I just try to use a pretty decent round whenever I'm doing something like this, so as not to waste my time and yours. So put 4 of them in there, since even though we have more capacity. I'm just shooting at these up close rounds right here, these up close pieces of steel. And again, I don't want to waste the ammo. Unfortunately, I only brought 2 boxes of them out here, which was not very smart thinking on my part. So again, let's use the reticle on the T20 and see if that gets us close. All right, well, that missed it. I'm gonna go to the far right, because since I missed it, I don't know where I missed it at. So I'm going to aim for the very middle of that steel plate, square steel plate on the far right over there. And let's see where I hit that thing. Okay, well, I couldn't tell, but it hit it. Maybe I could have aimed high on the first shot. Let me go for the steel plate here, second one over. Circle, then square. Simply using my reticle. Man, it looked like it was high and to the right. So I'm going to, you can actually adjust this reticle. You can adjust the reticle on the T20, just so you guys know. I'm not going to do that right now because, first of all, I don't know how to. I'll have to look at the instructions. But secondly, it's pouring down rain out here. So I'm just going to try to adjust my shot to account for the fact that I was shooting high and right. So I'm going to try to bring this thing over a little bit, see if I can't change that some. Yeah. On that last one before that, I thought it looked like I missed high and right. Just obviously you blink a little bit sometimes when you shoot, but I did catch the water. So yeah, I will be able to adjust this thing. I'll do that in another video, not to waste your time here. But yeah, that's what's cool about this thing. You can adjust it. Now, whether or not it will hold zero, I don't know. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to keep this thing, shoot those vultures out there. And then I have a really long target way out here. I'm gonna give it a shot also. And see if I can make some long range shots with the other 6 slugs that I have. All right, here we go. 3 vultures down here. Let's see what I can do to them. Got him. Got him. Got him. Clearly I'm close because even though those are massive targets, I'm still nailing them. So I've got a bullseye that we have shot at before. That's about 58, 50, 59 yards maybe away. Let's walk over there real quick, see if we can't get too wet and see if we can't bang a gong from about 60 yards away. You see my big orange target out there. Look at my finger, the tip of my finger. That's about 58 to 60 yards out there. I'm going to keep the camera behind me, but I'm gonna zoom in on it so you can see if I hit it, because it's older painted steel and it may not make quite as much noise, although it should with a slug hitting it. I cannot see the target. Well, I guess I am gonna get a chance to use my grabber hand warmers today. After all, I can't see the target. It's rained so much that it has cooled everything down. Guys, keep in mind that if this were a hot sunny day, that steel target would be bright enough for that T20 to actually light it up. So I would be able to see that target even at 60 yards. This thing is good to out to 150 meters. So clearly at 60 yards, it's a piece of cake. But again, it's cool and it's raining, so that piece of steel is almost as cool as everything else down there, or as cool. So it doesn't show up on the thermal. So I'm gonna heat these hand warmers up. I'm gonna hang them over the top, this one set. I'm just gonna drape them over the top like that. And I will know that that's the top of my target when my thermal picks it up. We're gonna make this T20 work today. So this is what you call entertainment, right? Yep, that's what they call entertainment right there. Oh yeah. My Ariat boots are typically pretty waterproof, but not this waterproof. Sometimes we do stuff that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, folks. This is very possibly one of those times. This is my target that I'm going to hang my, if I can find the darn things, my hand warmers on. And that's where I'm shooting from, this bay right here. All right, here's my target, not the chicken. Let me choke that thing. This is where I'm going. All right. I'm now gonna hang that thing up there. I'm told my camera's waterproof. These suckers ain't heating up very good. Or at least not very fast. I know you're supposed to take them out of the package, I get it, but I cut them open with my, there they go, there they're heating up a little bit. I heated them up, cut them open with my Southern Grind knife, and now, yep, I'm getting some heat off of them. I should do it right there. I should be able to tell me. I'll know straight down is my target. All right, let's walk back through the swamp. I do believe I can see it. I don't think you're going to be able to see this in the camera, but I can see a change in the white down there. I think that's to the right of it. Got it that time. Now y'all gotta admit, That's pretty cool. 60 yards away. What I did is I put this thing on the black. What I was saying earlier about how the noise on the color, and I'll put the correct terminology on screen, but the noise on the purplish orange one was too much. I thought I could see where that pack was, but whenever I put it on the one that's more gray, I still really couldn't see, but I could see a little better because a lot of the noise was gone by then. But when I put it on this black, man, it really put everything out. So anything that had any kind of real heat signature was allowing me to see it at that point. That's the beauty of the versatility of having these different colors that you can swap between. It's probably not a color that I'm going to use all the time or that I would use all the time, as the other one just, I don't know, it has a cooler look to it maybe, but it's an effective color. So maybe I'll grow to like it more since it works. But really cool to be able to shoot at 60 yards with a 12 gauge shotgun, not using real sights and not using sights that really have been zeroed in yet. My bad for not doing that, but I mean, I can't hang paper in this stuff. It's impossible to hang paper and to shoot at it in this. So I'm kind of at the mercy of what I've got. This T20 to me is impressive. I will sight this thing in. I'm going to zero it in to the point where it can knock something at 60 that I want to hit every single time. What I'd like to be able to do is, instead of being able to shoot a gong that's 3 feet wide at 60 yards, I'd like to be able to shoot that piece of hand warmer off the top of that thing directly at 60 yards. That's a more impressive shot. I will tell you this much. The airsoft community, this is what you guys have been looking for. This would be a huge hit in the airsoft community. Now, I don't know enough about it, and I'm not involved in the airsoft community, but I could certainly see using this Torrey Pines T20 to give me a distinct advantage in the event that I was shooting at. Now, again, make no mistake, this is not just for nighttime shooting and low light shooting. This is very effective during the daytime. If you've got a guy in full camo, all kitted out, sitting in the woods somewhere, and you're hunting him down, this is going to make him stick out like a lollipop in a marshmallow field. You're going to be able to pick him out. So yeah, I see this thing being a huge advantage. Check them out. Torrey Pines, go check them out. The T20 is a brand new unit that they've got. Very cool unit. I see this as a home defense around the house, kind of a ranch type thing, being very, very effective. Something you guys definitely want to check out if you're into the whole low light, nighttime thermal imaging type thing.